Hi, Thomas Ferreira here, a divorce attorney and mediator in Carlsbad, California, and we are engaging in some really honest talk about divorce. And my current series is on negotiation. It's something everybody's got to do. It's something that if you are involved, whether you have an attorney or not, you have to make negotiations and you have to influence the other party during the negotiations. And I've got a really good trick for how to do that. How many of you have gotten into these negotiations where, okay, I've decided what my bottom line is, and I'm going to start at $3,000 a month for support, and I'm willing to take $1,500. And your opponent is saying, well, I'd be willing to pay $500 and I'm maxed out at $1,000. You don't have any sweet spot there, and this is the old school. This is the way attorneys negotiate. You see, they take a position way out here, and the other party takes a position way out here, and then they compromise towards the center. And that is really not a productive way to negotiate because it's a zero-sum game. It assumes that there's a finite pie. It assumes that you can't find a win-win solution. So I'd like to tell you a little bit of a parable. And I have with me an orange, but this isn't any ordinary orange. This is a very special orange. And what's special about it is that two countries, it's especially genetically engineered, one-of-a-kind orange, and two countries need it. But unknown to the other country, country one needs just the peel because the peel has some kind of chemical that can cure disease. Unknown to country one, country two needs only the inside because the inside has something in it that will allow them to cure their famine problem. They have a terrible famine problem in country two. The representatives of the two countries don't know this. Each thinks they need the whole orange, and you can't divide it in two. That's cheating. So when they come together, how do the discussions go? Well, I need the whole orange. No, I need the whole orange. You see what's happening? You got an impasse until the parties can start talking about why they need the orange. What are their interests? What is it about the orange that they need? Once you start having that discussion, it's like, oh, you need the peel. All I need is the inside. Problem solved. But yet, most people don't negotiate like that. Again, the old school way of doing it is to posture. That's what we call it when we take the most extreme position on one side, hoping that we can get more. I prefer that you have a discussion that takes the positions of the parties and converts them into interests. Let me talk about the previous example where we were talking about support. If your ex-wife or ex-husband in many cases is asking for a spousal support order, you're liable to see that as every penny I pay to him in support is one less penny that I have to spend on myself. It's a zero-sum negotiation. So let's take that position of I'm not going to pay more than $500 or I'm not going to pay more than $1,000. Shoot, I can't live on anything less than $1,500. And let's talk about the interests. Well, one interest that both sides have in this negotiation is their own financial security. The receiving spouse needs to know that they can pay their bills during a period of time that they need to become self-supporting. The other party also has a financial interest, a financial security interest, if you will, in being able to keep enough money to continue paying their bills. When you start talking about the financial interest, when you start talking about security, that's a lot easier to negotiate. When somebody says to you, I need to feel secure so I can go out and go back to school and learn a trade so I can become self-supporting. Well, that's a lot easier for the paying spouse to swallow than I want $1,500 and I'm not going to accept a penny less. Do you see the difference? Other interests might be fairness. Now, the court doesn't care about fairness, but oftentimes fairness is an important interest. All parties want to be treated fairly. So when you have these interests, when you talk about interests instead of positions, you're not taking sides anymore. You're talking about things that both of you need. And that opens up the vault, if you will, of possible solutions to the problem. So, and it doesn't push the emotional buttons that position conversation tends to push. So if you really want to settle your case and save money, take those interests and just always think about take those positions rather. What are the interests that underlie them and how can I state them in neutral terms that don't bias the negotiation in favor of one party or the other? That's one of the tricks. Financial interest is something that both parties need. So until the next time, when I have a wonderful secret on how to tease out these interests with the technique of the curiosity stance, which I'm going to blog on next week, I want you to love your family, protect your finances, and reach for your future. I'm Thomas Ferreira.